This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, they jumped ship, and boy, you're not too far behind them. They show up at the, I guess, the very first Raw, January 11th, 1993. You're going to show up April 4th, 1993 at WrestleMania, and you got the band back together. Do you remember having some interaction with the Steiners at your first WrestleMania show?
Yeah, they were, I think they were happy to see me. Not as happy as I was to see them. But I still think the remnants of their Watts experience, when some scattering shit, people are standing around there are going to get some on them. And I don't know that they were fully trusting of me or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how to explain it. But the relationship was a little bit strained, and I felt bad about that because I really like those guys. I still do. And since then, everything's been cool. I mean, all during their WWE run was there. Look, I call the big match theirs WrestleMania 9.
Yeah.
It was their first WrestleMania too.
That's right. So,
and you go back and listen to that match. I didn't back off. I didn't undersell them. I took care of them as best of my ability and my role would allow. So, but I wish the Watts thing could have been addressed and solved. You just got two very alpha males, big time, capital A, and nobody wanted to take a step back. And then Watts, was insistent on making sure that everybody knew who was in charge. And he didn't think he could manage Scott Steiner. So if you think you can't manage a guy, you sure as hell don't sign him back. But it was unfortunate. Not enough was done to make that right. And it was a big loss for WCW. And I thought a big gain for WWE. They brought a different presentation into the tag team wrestling in WWE than anybody on the roster. That's how good they were. And a different style, more physical, more athletic. So, and they both look great. They're both, you believe in everything they're doing. And sometimes there were tag teams with gimmick names and gimmick presentations in WWE and WWF again, that just, it just didn't work in that respect, Conrad. I don't know how to explain it, but they were serious tag team guys, and they worked really well with a lot of guys. Remember, the Nasty Boys were already there, for example. They had people there that they knew and they'd worked with, but it was a big gain for WWF. Vince got a good hire there of those dudes.
Let's talk a little bit about King of the Ring. It's a bit of a throwaway match. They're going to team with the Smoking Guns to beat Money Inc. and the Head Shrinkers. But then the next night on Raw, they beat Money Inc. to win the tag titles. They lose it back on a house show on June 16th, but then win it back on the 19th. So now they're two-time tag champs. Let's fast forward to August 23rd. It's the SummerSlam Spectacular. It's a steel cage match where the Steiners get a win over Money Inc. The actual SummerSlam show, not the USA special, sees the Steiners beat the Heavenly Bodies. And then on Raw on September 13th, we have a Quebec Province rules match where the Quebecers beat the Steiners by DQ. And they have a famous manager with them, Johnny Polo, who we know is going to become the future Raven. I mentioned this Quebec Province rules stipulation because here the titles can change hands on a DQ. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that little twist?
It's a way to appease the talent.
Yeah.
It's compromise. It's compromise booking. I always believe that you're a good enough worker and everybody's motivated and traveling in the same direction, that putting somebody over is very doable. It's not going to just kill you. But when you got ex-wrestlers making all the decisions as agents, that's how they grew up. That was the way of the world for a long time. Hey, brother, you got to protect your gimmick. You can't lose clean. And that's why it angers me sometimes, or frustrates me, better said, that, he beat him right in the middle. Okay, good. I'm glad you got some terms down. I see it online, Twitter stuff. I can't believe you got beat in the middle. Well, what would you suggest, Einstein? What would you suggest? How about making the people that win strong as hell so that the people that lose lost to somebody significant. And it keeps the door open for more competition.
Right.
So I look at this basically compromise booking, and I don't think that's ever good for anybody. That's like it's the same analogy of escaping the cage to win the match, when I don't understand the logic of escape. I understand the logic of winning, pinning, submitting, whatever. I'm just not big on that. Escape the cage, same thing. It's a conciliatory compromise booking that you do to quote unquote protect the babyface or protect the heel, because nobody got pinned. Nobody submitted. Somebody was agile enough to climb the cage, Conrad. A finish that you and I will never do. Just climb the cage and go down the other side, both feet touching the floor, and now we got a winner. So there's an excuse. And that really became in vogue in our business when so many wrestlers became owners, part owners, bookers, etc., because they were like union reps. They're going to protect their constituency, even though they didn't show any objectivity. It's weak.
Rumble 94 goes down on January 22nd. Both Steiners are in it. Of course, Bruce has told the story that famously they wanted Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner rather, to debut and win the Rumble in 93 and go on to WrestleMania. But of course, Scott turned that down, wanting to be a good tag team partner for his brother, just as his brother had when he left WCW. But now at the 94 Rumble, which Jim was there for, Scott comes in at number 1. And he eliminates Samu before being eliminated by Diesel. Rick then comes in at number 3. He doesn't eliminate anyone, and Owen Hart puts him out. Do you remember there being discussion here in early 94 about perhaps splitting up the Steiner brothers and doing some brother versus brother stuff? Or is this one of those brothers don't fight initiatives from Vince?
Well, I think that we'd earmarked the fact that Scotty, of the two guys, probably had the most charisma and the best chance of stepping out of the tag team shadow and becoming a very successful single star. And I think we saw that in Atlanta. So it was just, it seemed like it made sense. But I don't know how much, I don't know about him winning the Rumble and all those things. I don't think that Scott especially, Rick especially, was very well booked in that Rumble.
Right. Well, it's even been mentioned, I think, by Scott before that the Office wanted Rick and Scott to get into it and actually fight at this 94 Rumble where they're both in it together. They just flat turned that down.
Yeah.
After the Rumble, the Steiners are allowed to make some more shots for New Japan. On February 16th, they beat Bobby Eaton and Mike Enos over there. On the 17th, the very next day, they beat Jushin Liger and Power Warrior. And then on the May 7th episode of Superstars, IRS beats Scott Steiner to qualify for the King of the Ring, which in hindsight feels like, what? But of course,
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.